Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, which makes it time to sit down and catch up with a brand new vlog, and this week, Midsummer Fire Festival is back, which means not much if you caught up last year. I am not planning on doing a brand new video because there's really nothing new here. If you had everything done before, you still have everything done. So there are two things to consider here if you are caught up. That would be one, if you are leveling any characters at all, don't forget to pick up the ribbon dance buff from spinning around the little pole thingy in one of the cities. That gives you 10% experience, so that's available during the holiday. And the second thing is just to triple check that you do have everything. So just open up your pet journal, open up your toy journal, type Midsummer, and that'll pop up the things that you have or don't have so you can find out. If you're missing anything like I found out that I was, your best bet is going to be to pull up a map of all the bonfires. Wowhead has a good one that I'll try and link in the comments, and then just go on a tour and do it on Alts if you have to, and then get the stuff that you needed. I noticed that I'm missing quite a few toys, and I'm on a bit of a toy collecting spree, so that'll be a thing I have to do this week. Something else going on is happening this weekend is the WoW free weekend, so if you are currently unsubbed from the game, you can access your account this week. So re-download WoW if you need to, or patch it, or just open it back up. And there's no restrictions on this. Like, WoW is always free to play up to level 20, but for this weekend it is free to play without restrictions. So you can log in and check things out, and then run around Dalaran a bunch of times while watching a bunch of BfA videos to try and figure out if you want to play that or not. But in any case, you have the option this weekend. They also put on a sale for character services, so things like realm transfers, faction transfers, race changes, that kind of thing, I think is all on sale. I went ahead and picked up a realm transfer for my EU tune to get it off of Draenor. So heads up, I'm not on Draenor and EU anymore. The auction house situation was just not what I needed for my life, so I've moved now. But yeah, character services are on sale, and while we're talking about things on sale, there is a Blizzard gear store sale going on right now. There is not a lot of WoW stuff, a lot of Overwatch stuff, some WoW stuff, but in any case, that's on the gear store. I picked up a couple of shirts. They had some cheap shirts, actually. The Argus shirt was like $6, and I've seen the Argus shirt full price a bunch of times and been like, I mean, it's Argus, you know, it's nice, it's fine, but like, do I really want to remember Argus? But apparently for $6 I do want to remember Argus, so that's the thing. Something that probably isn't news but I just discovered this week is the Scrapper in BfA. So previously I've heard of the Scrapper, I just kind of wrote it off as that thing from Legion that I've already forgotten the name of that gave you Obliterum, the Obliterator? Anyways, I kind of wrote off the Scrapper as like version 2.0 of that. But I discovered yesterday on beta, you can just put gear into that thing. Like, you get a quest reward, you don't need it, you just stick it in there, and it spits out, like, ore and crafting mats and stuff. How cool is that? So now I actually need to go figure out what that thing does and how it's going to impact regular people, because that means that you don't necessarily need enchanting to get more value out of just, like, a piece of gear, which is something that happens a lot, you know, through world quests or whatever. So I need to look more into that. That's probably news to nobody but me, but there you go. Speaking of other things that were news to nobody but me, something that I discovered this week, I made an embarrassing mistake, and I would love to say it was embarrassing in that I just misspoke. I'm specifically referring to my video where I talk about the new loading screen for BfA. I would love to say that I just misspoke and said Stormwind when I meant Lordaeron. I really meant Stormwind, and I've actually been waiting for an attack on Stormwind on the beta for like months, because when I first saw the launch cinematic for BfA, the fact that that's the battle for Lordaeron didn't clue in. I don't have a good excuse. For whatever reason, I saw Anduin, I saw the siege tower, like the Alliance siege tower he was next to kind of looked like a Stormwind spire to me. I was mostly focused on the characters, and for whatever reason I just wrote it off as Stormwind, and I was thinking, wow, that scaffolding that Sylvanas is on must be really tall. She really built some crazy, you know, siege towers for this battle on Stormwind. I wonder why it hasn't showed up on beta yet. And then I posted that video, and then I was very quickly informed that that is Lordaeron and that I'm a little bit dumb, and you're not wrong. I will say at least my mistake didn't hurt anybody. I didn't give out any advice based on that mistake, and the shame feelings will go away eventually. But hey, I don't have to keep worrying about Stormwind anymore. Stormwind's good. They've suffered enough. Other pieces of news, they posted a blue post kind of detailing in more detail, I suppose, the PvP rating system changes going into BfA. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I will say the bit that's jumped out at me the most, my favorite part, is that you will be able to get vicious mounts in twos. Twos wins will count towards your vicious mount total, which is huge because I often had enough twos wins. I was just really too lazy to find a third person who would put up with me, so I missed a couple seasons worth of vicious mounts. And then the other thing related to that is they also said that progress towards a vicious mount within a season will be account wide, so you can do some games on this character and some games on another character, then you get on your ult, you do some games there. Those will all count towards your vicious mount progress, which one makes it much easier for makes it much easier to get the initial vicious mount, especially if you tend to play a couple of characters, but it does have the drawback of presumably preventing you from getting multiple vicious mounts within one season by making use of alts. I haven't been that ambitious in a while, so I'm mostly looking forward to it, and I think that the people that were like really gung-ho about doing a ton of arena to really crank out vicious mounts, they're probably mostly caught up by now. You'd think they would have them by now. Anyways, that's a change that's coming in that I'm looking forward to, but I can see how some people might not be. And then in my personal life this week, fish talk, I'm sorry. The 20-gallon aquarium that is in my living room that I have been cycling and setting up, it is finally ready for fish, and I'm so excited. I might try and go today after the stream. I might try and wait a couple of days, maybe go on the weekend, maybe go on Tuesday. I don't know yet, but I'm so excited. I was thinking about filming some of it and trying to do like a little bit of a video showing what I'm doing there, but then I realized I am a WoW YouTuber. I'm not a fish YouTuber, and there's probably like 4 of you that actually care about fish, and that's totally fine. You know, I make WoW videos here, so I don't know. But in any case, I'm really, really excited. I know I'm going to get some Cories. I'm probably going to get something other than just Cories. Everything else is very flexible. But in any case, fish soon, and I'm really excited. Questions from this week. Aaron Shoemate asks, are you planning on doing a video with your top recommendations for what add-ons to have for BfA? So yeah, a cleaned up like top 10 best all-around add-ons wouldn't really go amiss. I don't see why I can't do that. As far as tailoring it specifically towards BfA, I think that add-ons that are like expansion specific, like for example what the Garrison Mission Manager was in Warlords, those tend to happen like a little bit later. So if there is a new BfA system that necessitates add-ons, like a really good Warfronts add-on or a really good Island Expedition add-on for some reason, those are things that will kind of pop up later, so there might need to be like a part 2 to it that happens in BfA, but I haven't done a good add-on roundup in a while, and that's a question that comes up a lot, so I don't see why not. JG Rockford asks, what's your opinion on Shadow going into BfA and on changes being held until 8.1? And then what would you consider being the most needed aspects to be fixed for Shadow? So far, I am cautiously optimistic on Shadow going into BfA, and I think as far as holding changes towards 8.1, that would be more offensive to me if they had just done nothing. If they had actually made no changes and just been like, yeah, we ran out of time, we'll get to it later, you know, here, have a, nothing. That would have been a problem, but it's not like that's what's happening. We have lots of changes. They have unpruned mines here. They have redesigned Void Eruption. They've shuffled the talent tree around a bunch. They've added this new talent allowing you to activate Void Form on demand. There are plenty of changes going into Shadow. I'm not going to comment on numbers because I think until like after the game is out and some early hotfixes have gone through, I think it's just too early to worry about numbers. But as far as the playstyle, yes, it does feel a little different without Void Torrent. You can take Void Torrent as a talent. I have just chosen not to. And then what I would consider being the most needed aspects to be fixed, I think, and I don't know if this needs to be fixed, but I think it would be cool if they gave us a damage cooldown. Something that was kind of unique and shadowy, because that's one of the buttons that I've noticed that we don't really have in the same way that a lot of other classes have a couple of. You know, we'll get to a burst point in the raid fight, and my raid leader goes, cooldowns everybody, and I like look at my bars and I go, you want some Vampiric Embrace? I can heal you. So I think it would be neat to have a damage button. For example, just an idea, but what if there was like a stacking buff you could accrue with your Void Apparitions, or Shadowy Apparitions, I guess they're called. And that was like a capped stacking buff, so you could stack like 5 or 10 of them or whatever, but there would be a cap on it. And you could choose to consume those at any time to get like an Insanity generation buff, for example. So you could, as you generate Shadowy Apparitions, you could choose to save those up for like a big burst phase. If you think you're going to cap early and you think you might be able to get them back again for the next time you need them, you can try and use them early. I think that would be a cool gameplay aspect and like way of giving us a damage cooldown without just making it a here, every 2 minutes you do 10% more for 10 seconds button. But I don't know if it's like needed. It's just an idea that I thought was cool. Mage Wage asks, what do you think about Legion zones being too cluttered with hostile mobs everywhere, but the less crowded ones are dark and gloomy? Don't you think we need some chill ones like Nagrand or Stranglethorn? Nagrand and Stranglethorn are actually 2 of my most favorite zones, mostly I think because they have like the Nessingwary quest lines. I've always really enjoyed those. Getting me to kill like 36 of a thing and then 36 of a different thing is just like my jam in WoW. But I wouldn't say that the base Legion zones felt that way to me. Argus for sure, but that was something they were going for, and Argus was that like you're always in danger thing. I don't think that they felt claustrophobic. I do think that in BfA so far, I've noticed a couple of zones, and bear in mind, I haven't spent a lot of time in them, but Stormsong Valley in particular had a very kind of open, airy, idyllic feel. And there's still like a lot going on. There's a ton of monsters everywhere. There has to be for world quests. But I don't know if it's cluttered. I think it's alive. But that's just me. Hey Hazel, this may have been asked before, but where did you get those awesome WoW posters? So those are the WoW canvas wall hangs. I got them from the Blizzard Gear store. As far as I know, they're no longer available. The last time I went like Googling around for info to give to people, because I get this a lot. I read that they're limited print, and like all the canvas wall hangs they do, I read that they're limited print. They make a certain amount of them, they sell them, and then they're done. Which would make sense because I haven't seen them come back, but I didn't know that when I bought them, so I'm glad that I got the ones I did. I don't have all of them. I don't have a Wrath one. And then I never got the Legion one, and I'm starting to think maybe I should have. It wasn't on sale. It would have been like, I think the full price for these was like 50 or 60 bucks each, so they were pretty expensive, so I didn't get the full price one. I got those ones on sale. But maybe I should have gotten them if they weren't going to come back. Anyways, that has been my week. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions you would like answered on a vlog, please leave them as comments on the most recent vlog. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!